How are you?
You're awesome. You were hardly working. I was working hard. That's what was going on.
Oh, I know.
You were working harder than me work-wise, so you had to take it easy in the gym.
Yeah, but that's why you look the way you look, and that's why I look the way I look. So that's where it's all born, right in the gym when nobody's watching. How you doing, Allie?
I miss you, buddy. I'm
We
doing
miss you.
really well. I love that intro music.
Yeah,
It gets me
yeah.
pumped up. I never, ever gets old. I love it.
We got to spice it up for you. And, you have just grown and shot off like a skyrocket. I'm sure most of our audience knows because I've referenced it from time to time. But I met Allie a couple of years ago, and we're getting ready for a fourth year on Tops, which is amazing, on CBS Sports Network. And Allie was a part of the initial cast, and she was tremendous. And I knew. I looked at her, I said, This girl's going to be a star, and not just because she's pretty, and I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. You obviously are, but she's just a talented, diligent professional, and I am so proud of you. And watching you do these sideline reports, you nailed it. I mean, you got to be having a blast where you are right now, huh?
You're awesome and too complimentary. That Tops year was just the best. I miss that crew so much, but it is so much fun being on the sidelines and doing the reports and just feeling like you're part of the madness in some way. We all wish we were the players out there on the court. Mm-hmm. That would be fun, but since we can't be, we can at least try to give the fan like the ultimate experience. And that's what I try to do with the sideline reports. I want them to know which players are likable and which players are the hardest working and which players are, out there maybe struggling with something on the sideline but still fighting through it. I mean, those are the kind of stories that I think help enhance the game and that I just want to help share.
You do have an opportunity to talk to these kids and coaches in a different capacity than just analyzing what's happening on the court. What have you found so far in this tournament are some of the more compelling stories? Because we see these kids on the court, but we don't know their stories.
No, you're right about that. I mean, Buddy Hield's story is incredible. I mean, it's been told 1,000 times, but, where he came from and how, he really had to fight his way into the college basketball world and how his mom is at every game and he's really close to his mom. That's all been told. But, I mean, what hasn't been told is the fact that when you are with him in person, you will just fall in love with this kid because he really does sign every autograph and he takes every photo. After his practice right before the Elite Eight game, he walked off the court and there was a bunch of fans that were kind of leaning over the railings, buddy, buddy, buddy. And instead of just blowing him off or maybe just signing one or two and keep walking, he stopped at every single one and tried to sign to where the SIDs were like, buddy, the bus is waiting to leave. You need to stop signing. And he was like, couple more. And he'll grab people's phones and he'll do their selfies for them. And then after that, I walk with them back to the bus and I just want to pick his brain about a couple of things like, hey, I'll keep this short. So I asked him 2 questions. And then when I was done, he said, that's it? That's all you got?
No.
Almost like he expected to talk more and he wanted, me to know more about his story and about him. And you hardly see that anymore.
Boy, he loves the moment.
Players now, even at the college level, even at 18 years old, think of the media as a hassle and think they're too good sometimes for it. And he is just the epitome of what college basketball players should be and was so fun to see and work with.
We know what's interesting, Allie. A lot of these players, and it's a little different this year. It feels like it's a totally different template. But in years past, it's been primarily about the one-and-dones or two-and-dones. This year, it's your interviews, not to disparage the young kids, but they just don't have the life experience to give a real thought-out interview because they're freshmen. They're 18, they're 19, the world's spinning at a very rapid rate. But somebody like Buddy Hield, he's a senior. The entire Villanova team, Arcidiacono.
Right, Arcidiacono, yes.
These are seniors. They have a little more life experience, so it probably gives you more to work with, I would imagine, because they've seen more.
I mean, for Oklahoma, 4 of their 5 starters have started 104 consecutive games together.
That's a big number. Yeah, basketball? That's good. I mean, I like it. I wonder, and I know you're pretty savvy and pretty interactive on social media as well. The one thing that I worry about, although we don't get it in this Final Four because we have teams that are, of the blue blood cloth, if you will, for the most part. But I wonder if the average fan who kind of parachutes into mid-March and wants to watch everything and absorb it and inhale it with great frequency, if there's not the ability to identify with a roster or specific players, I feel like the average fan is kind of on the outside looking in. Last year with Winslow and Okafor from Duke, and of course the two, the Kaminsky and Decker from Wisconsin. there might be a little less familiarity in terms of pro prospects this March, but it seems like the teams are still resonating, which almost contradicts what I would have expected, actually.
That's a really good point, and to think that it could flip so quickly. I mean, I thought that we were going into a trend with these one-and-dones, and that's the way college basketball was going to look for multiple years to come.
Mm-hmm.
And then the very next year, it surprises us all, and it's all about the team and chemistry. And I guess that's why, none of us can predict, and none of us have predicted the teams left in this Final Four. I think we can all admit we failed miserably on our brackets this year.
Well, by the way, who'd you have getting there? Who was your 4 to get to Houston? Who'd you have?
I had Michigan State.
Okay, so did everybody.
North Carolina.
Me too.
Virginia.
Tiki's
and
team.
Oklahoma.
Okay, I still listen. My points are woeful, and my showing's been terrible. But I still have. I got a chance. I got UNC and the Sooners in the championship game. So if we get there, I still won't win. I just won't finish behind my wife because who I'm trailing right now in the Tiki and Tierney
That's
pool.
not too bad, though. You're right.
No, but she's a big sports fan, so I don't mind that. Allie LaForce with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio.
Allie, you were out in Anaheim for this past weekend, and you had I don't want to say up close and personal, but you have a perspective on the Dylan Brooks, Coach K, let's call it a controversy. What went down? What should we take away from that?
Oh, my goodness. Well, it was, man, I could go on for hours about this. And it puts me in a tricky situation just because, I'm sure there's going to be a time next year where I'm interviewing Coach K again and, asking him for his insight. And so I don't want to talk bad about anybody. And he is, the situation was unfortunate to where they had a long conversation after the game. And I'm racing to get in position for my interviews, right? So I don't hear exactly what's said in the long exchange, but I do my interviews, and then I go back to the locker room to do the losing interviews. And it's something that I have to ask about as a journalist. I mean, it was a long, obvious exchange, and Brooks would then come out and say, hey, Coach K told me I'm better than that. And so it's a good thing that I asked Coach K, hey, what'd you say to Brooks? But he didn't answer my question. He blew it off, and he didn't tell me what he really said.
Mm-hmm.
So then he goes into, the big media room where everybody just keeps drilling him with it and asking him. And people say, hey, Brooks said you told him not to showboat. And he says, I never said that. Well, then, the audio and the video gets released, and it shows he did. And anyways, the big picture is, the big takeaway for me is that when I was at practice the next day, Duke was eliminated. This team was trying to practice. They were trying to focus on the biggest game of their life. They were trying to prep for the Elite Eight in one day. And what did they have to field questions about for an hour before their biggest practice of the year? Brooks and Coach K. For an hour, people asked them about that, and they couldn't escape it. No matter how much they said, we're focusing our next game.
Oh,
we don't want to talk about it.
that doesn't work anymore. Are you kidding me? People want they want stories, yeah.
So then the next day, what was it, an hour before the game, Coach K comes out and says, hey, I hope I wasn't a distraction. I never meant to be a distraction. I'm thinking, until an hour before their biggest game, this was the biggest distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And in this day and age with social media and with all the video and all the coaches and the players and different people that are mic'd up and all the cameras everywhere, you can't really get away with lying. And I just wish that in the beginning he came out and said, I didn't think it was a very classy move. I gave him my 2 cents on it, and I hope he takes it for what he is. If he chooses to listen, great. If he doesn't, that's his choice.
Yeah.
And then we all would have been like, hey, you know what? Maybe Coach K is right, or Coach K is a Hall of Fame coach. He can give advice to anyone he wants. And if you're a college kid, listen to Coach K. You know what I mean? But I thought the apology came a day late, and I thought it was a huge distraction. And then Brooks went out and didn't have a great game. And I don't want to say that's why, but it was certainly what was on his mind the 2 days leading up to his biggest game.
Let me tell you, Allie,
it's interesting.
Not that you need my advice here, but if Coach K is so petty where he holds this against you, then that's on Coach K. That's not on you. He's the one who lied. And listen, we all revere Coach K, but I don't care who you are or what you've accomplished. If you lie to our faces and you do something that is either unprofessional or however you want to frame it, and then you lie about it, you know what? We're going to have some questions. So whatever, Coach K, too bad. And listen, if Coach K has a problem with you, tell Coach K to call me.
Yeah.
Your big brother will take care of him, all right?
Yeah, you know what?
I'll send him to you, BT.
Nice.
You're doing Reese's, Allie, Reese's Final Four Friday and the College All-Star Game, which is a lot of the seniors. Tell us a little bit about it as we're up against the time a little bit here.
So this game, I actually get really excited about now. I started doing it 3 years ago. They're in their 8th year, and it's so much fun because there are players that I wasn't done watching yet in the college basketball game, but that are graduating, and that I had so much fun watching this year. And you think, oh man, it's the Final Four. I'm excited for these teams, but there are still guys that I want to see play. So, for example, I was devastated when Thomas Walkup lost, when Stephen F. Austin lost, because I loved what that team was all about and how they had bought into a system and really dedicated themselves to it. And I wanted to see them play another game. Well, now we'll get to see him play in the All-Star game. And it's just fun for fans because you can go on Friday, you can watch the Final Four teams practice, and you can stick around and you can watch the All-Star game, which airs on CBS on Saturday, and you can see some of your favorite players. You know, and All-Star games are fun. It's all about offense. It's all about personality, and it's really fun too because they let me sit on the bench and they let me talk and interview with, you know, players during the game and really show their personality. It's not as serious as a regular game, so that's a blast. Also, we give away Final Four tickets to a fan at halftime who gets to shoot a half-court shot and try to win. And last year they made the shot and got the Final Four ticket.
Did they really?
So
I didn't know
really
that. Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
And,
Okay.
we're doing a new thing too where you can share your March mood. So, you know, if a player gets hurt and you're really sad about it on your team, or something happens to where your team becomes the favorite to win, or you get to do something really cool at the Final Four that excites you, you just hop on Twitter and you do #MarchMood and you share your mood at the moment, which we know during March Madness is changing constantly. So just make sure you get on social media, #MarchMood, and definitely stop by Friday. There's a lot of fan interaction. If you can't make it, come by on Saturday and tune into CBS, and you can watch it on TV if you're not in Houston.
This sounds like a lot of fun. We'll be there. I know we have a few other. We're playing golf on Friday with some CBS people, and we're doing a show on Saturday. So we're going to be running around a little bit here. But I certainly hope to get to see you. If I don't, which I imagine I will, but if I don't, just keep up the good work. Best of luck to Joe. Joe Smith is Allie's husband, for those who don't know. He's on the Angels, a very good pitcher out of the bullpen. You know, I'm always rooting for you, kiddo. You know that.
Oh, thanks, Brandon. I really appreciate it. And I will come by the show, and if I don't, I will see you in the gym, and you better be working harder this time.
You got it. All right. The gauntlet has been dropped. We'll see you, Allie. Be well.
Best to your family, too. Thanks, DP.
Good
Be
stuff.
well, Allie.